Welcome to another exciting episode of Kung Fu Conversations. And across the way, in the distance, our new friend today that's interviewing with us. Your name, my friend, so I don't butcher it?
In Hebrew, it's Elhanan Magidovich, but in English, you can call me Elhanan. It's okay.
Elhanan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, would you be so kind? What got you interested in martial arts? Tell us your origin stories. What was your background, my friend?
You want the short story or the long story?
The long one. We got you on the show. We got you on the show so we can listen to a story, brother.
Well, the simple story, I think, is almost like any other martial arts guys that in our age, like 40, in their 40s and 50s. It all started, with Bruce Lee, Jet Li, and all this the 80s Kung Fu movies. But my story was originated not only via my interest in martial arts, but it also via my interest in Chinese culture. Mm-hmm. So to make a long story short, when I was 5 years old, I was having a dream while I was sleeping. And apparently the whole dream was in Chinese.
Wow.
Yeah. And okay, so since that day, I was, like any other people, through my youth and all the other stuff, I was reading Chinese philosophy and was interested in some of the Chinese culture and et cetera, et cetera. And when I was in my 20s, I had a girlfriend, and my girlfriend was interested in in people that are fortune tellers and all this, how to say it, paranormal stuff. Yeah. And when she went to consult with one of these ladies, and she showed her my picture, and the lady looked at the picture and she told her, in previous life, your boyfriend was a highly ranking officer in the Chinese emperor's court. So she went back home and told me the story, and I said, okay, it's nice. But it moved something within me. So, when I was when I was 25 years old, I was graduated from my bachelor's degree. And I decided, okay, I have to put an end to all this interest, and I have to go to China. And I went to China, and what can I say? As soon as I landed, I felt at home. I didn't understand any word, but I felt like that I came to my natural home, my natural family. And I went to study in the university. And guess what? In Chinese, my name is Henan. And Han means Chinese and Nan means man. So the meaning of my name in Chinese is Chinese man. So that's it. And here I am.
That's amazing.
That's a great story.
So when you first delved into the Chinese culture, was it the language first and then the martial arts? Was it the language and then maybe the philosophy? Where did you go in university? What was the journey there?
I think it started, my journey to China and my interest in China started, as I said, via the cultural interest. And it started from the martial arts. As I said, I was moved by the movies and all the cool stuff, Bruce Lee and all these
Sure.
old guys. And later on, I understood that martial arts, Chinese martial arts, are a mandatory part of the Chinese culture. So in order to get more depth in the Chinese martial arts, I have to understand Chinese culture. And in order to understand the Chinese culture and the Chinese way of thinking, I have to learn Chinese, because everything starts with the language. Because when you understand the language, you understand the culture, you understand the hidden meaning of stuff. Mm-hmm. And you get a deeper understanding. It's my own opinion. Yeah, that's what I think. So as soon as I understand to go to China, my primary aim was to learn Chinese martial art, especially Bagua. and I will tell you later on how I got to Gao style Bagua. And in parallel, to learn Chinese language, because I knew that I will have a Chinese teacher, Chinese master, and I will have a Chinese student, so I can train and cross-train with them. So it was very important for me to learn equivalently, like parallel, the Chinese language and culture and martial arts in order to become better in both, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good.
Did you, when you first got there to China, did you have, in your mind, well, let me back up a little bit. So did you have any exposure to the Chinese martial arts before you went to China?
Yes. When I was around, I think, I went to China when I was 25. Mm-hmm. I started to train Chinese martial arts when I was a kid. As most of people, we didn't have Chinese martial arts in Israel. So when I was a kid, I trained in karate. Mm-hmm. I did it for maybe 1 or 2 years, and it didn't interest me. And I started to do Chinese martial arts later on after the army. And when I was studying in the university, I was like around 22, 23 years old, like 2 years before I went to China. I started with Yang style, Taiji. Mm. And then I also did some Chen style Taiji. I had a short period when I was, in semester vacations during my studies. I went for 2 months to China, and I trained there Chen style, which later I realized that one of my teacher was like a very famous teacher in China. But I didn't know it at the time when I was studying with him, because I didn't understand Chinese. I was just like a tourist, and I was having fun. And I was training outdoors. And one time when I was training outdoors, I saw some people like maybe 100, 200 meters beside me training and doing some weird stuff and weird movement. But I got curious, so I went over there and I asked the teacher, like, what do you teach? And he told me what we do is the Gao style Bagua. And I was asking questions, and he invited me to train with them. So I trained with them, and I fell in love, because at that time I didn't have a teacher. I was just practicing stuff that I learned from my previous teachers, but I didn't have a teacher. So I wanted to advance, and I knew that, okay, I want to learn Chinese martial arts, and this guy looks good. It's very interesting what he's doing. And this guy was Ben Fox. Ben Fox is one of the indoor students of Dexiu. Uh-huh. So this was my entry gate into the Gao style Baguazhang. So I started with the Taiwanese style of Gao. And 2 years later, I decided to go to China. So I asked Ben, my teacher, listen, because I was stressed. I wanted to keep practicing Gao Bagua, but I was stressed because I didn't know when I go to China, I didn't know if I can locate someone that teaching Gao style Bagua. But I knew But what I knew I was going on statistics. So I said, okay, if I want to study internal martial arts, the best place to learn internal martial arts is the region of the internal martial arts, and it's Tianjin. So Tianjin in the old time was like the mecca of internal martial arts, like Gao Yi Sheng and Sun Lutang and Cheng Tinghua from sometimes was there, and Gao Yi Sheng, all the famous guys went, and what's the name? The guy from Ho Yuanjia was also also from Tianjin, from a small village near Tianjin region. So I knew that I have to start in Tianjin. Luckily for me, 1 month before, so I bought tickets to Tianjin, but I didn't know where I'm going to train. And luckily for me, 1 month before my flight, another guy came and saw us training in the park. And he said, hey, it looks familiar for something that I do in Tianjin. And I said, are you training in Tianjin? And he told me, yes, I train in Tianjin. So I said, what do you train in Tianjin? He said, I do Gao style. And I told him, hey, what we do here is Gao style.
That's beautiful.
And he told me, yeah, but what you do is a little bit different because the movement, the basic, the Ho Tians and the Xian Tians in the Gao style in Taiwan, the origin is from Tianjin, but it was a little bit changed with time.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the history of the Hong brothers and what's his name, Zhang Jiaodong.
Zhang Jiaofeng, yeah.
Yeah, Zhang Jiaofeng, Zhang Jiaodong. And it was changed a little bit, but my teacher told me, listen, it looks good what he's doing. Maybe you find your teacher in Tianjin. So I asked this guy if he can introduce me, and he told me, yeah, I will be happy to introduce. And he wrote a letter to Han Feng Rui. And when I came to Tianjin, I didn't know a word in Chinese. So when I went to the university, I asked for my teacher that was speaking. We had like a translator for the first days. So I asked my translator to call to this teacher and tell him that I want to train with him. And Han was on his 70s. I think he was 71 when we met.
Wow.
And he came to the university, and the translator kind of, he didn't know anything about martial arts, but he translated what I told him. And I told him that I do also Gao style. So Han told me, okay, show me what you know.
Right.
And I started to show him. So he was looking, he was smiling, and he told me, okay, you have some good basics. We can start train tomorrow. So apparently Han Feng Rui, which was one of Liu Feng Cai, I know that what I'm saying sometimes doesn't sound objective, but I will say it anyway because this is the vibe and the information that I got during my trainings and during my own research. We'll talk about it also I will elaborate more if you guys want.
Absolutely.
But apparently, Han Feng Rui was one of the students that was spent the most time with Liu Feng Cai. And as far as I understand from other witnesses, he was one of Liu Feng Cai's loved students. So kind of like I got really really straight and direct connection to the Gao lineage. And from that day, we started practicing. It was like private tutoring. Han didn't have a group because at that time, most of the Chinese, they wanted to learn Taekwondo and some cool stuff and Wushu. No one was interested in traditional martial arts. So I was training for about 6 to 8 months only with Han. And later on, after I got the basic, he told me, listen, you can start and come to the park in the mornings. I will introduce you to the other guys. And from then on, I was almost from more than 3 years, I was training with, altogether I was training with Han for 4 years. But in the beginning, we trained every day for 3 hours. And after the first 6 months, maybe I was on probation or on test period. I don't know how to call it.
Right.
He saw that I'm serious in what I'm doing, and he invited me to train with the other guys, some senior guys that he had training with them in the park. And from that day, for 3.5 years, we trained twice a day. I trained 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the noontime.
Wow.
That's amazing.
This is how I got to Gao style in Tianjin.
That's a great story.
Thanks.
Were you still attending university over there and also?
While I was training, I was learning. For 2 years, I was studying Chinese, which was Putonghua Mandarin. And later on, I got a scholarship, so I started to learn business and business management in Chinese in Nankai University. I was the only foreign student in the department at that time.
Wow. That's great.
And in parallel, I was also paying for a private tutoring because I was really interested in learning what it's called how to say it. It was like Gudai Hanyu, like ancient Chinese. I was really
classical Chinese, yeah.
Classical Chinese, yeah. Mm-hmm. I was interested in classical Chinese, so we learned like all the Chinese idioms, Chinese poems, and the classical Chinese stuff because I wanted to deepen my understanding in the Chinese culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing also calligraphy and all the other stuff too, which I was really bad in calligraphy.
How difficult is the classical Chinese? Because that looks like it's, I've looked at it, but man, it looks very sophisticated. What can you say about that, Elhanan?
So, Chinese as a language, as you know, it's not a simple language. It's not.
No.
It regarded one of the toughest languages to learn, but for me, I don't know if it was so difficult. Not because I'm so smart, but because I was really interested. I had passion to it. Yeah. So I didn't see the difficulties as difficulties. I saw them as challenges. So it wasn't difficult. It was a challenge, and it was like a challenge. It was fun to do and to cross over. That's awesome. Lucky for me, I had great teachers. So
yeah,
when they all, the average age of my teachers was around 70. So what I think is that if you look on these old guys who are 70 years old and they see like 25, 26 years old foreign guy that is really interested in Chinese culture, I think it gave them motivation to share it with me because the Chinese in my age got interested in it. So it was like a chance for them to share with me their knowledge.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
I consider myself very lucky.
Yeah. That's very cool. So when you went to go train in the park with some of Han's students, was there like a structure to that class, or was it more sort of free form, or did you guys sort of do certain things?
Okay, so the senior guys, they trained with Han because Han, although during the Cultural Revolution he was a bus driver, but he also had and he also was like a Chinese. He was a Chinese medical, like traditional Chinese medicine. He was also a healer. So most of the senior guys came to him after they got injured, and he was teaching them Bagua in order to help them with their body structure and body movement and to make them stronger and more volatile and all the stuff. And when he was teaching me separately. Like they were training in one side, I was training on the other side. Like we trained together, but I did my own stuff. The structure was, it was like this. Like we did like, a jib and shofa, which is like basic hand movements. In China, when I was training, we didn't it's not like in the West, when you start training, you do warm-ups. Because we trained every day and twice a day. So the jib and shofa and the basic drills, they were the warm-up. We didn't have stretch stuff and all the stuff. Okay. You straight went into practice. So we did all the jib and shofa, jib and shenfa, which is like basic body movements, jib and tuifa, basic leg movements. And this was like the basic. After it was like, let's say like 15, 20, 25 minutes, maybe half an hour. And later on we started with circle walking. Circle walking from the beginning, it was like 1 hour and 15 minutes. Like it was hard for me because I didn't used to go in like one posture for 1 hour.
Yeah.
So, but the more I got advanced, so you learn the first posture and then you do the second posture. So now I have 2 postures, so I can switch. And then from time, and then as long as I got advanced, like I started to learn the basic hand transitions and I don't know how you call it in English.
What is it in Chinese?
I try to remember also.
Just the individual palm changes?
Yeah, the palm changes. Sorry, palm
Yep.
changes.
Yep.
So I forgot the term. Yeah, the palm, all the different palm changes. Mm-hmm. And after we did this 1.5 hour of circle walking, we had for the last hour or an hour and a half, I did the Hotians. Mm-hmm. And this was, let's say, because it's important to say I was training twice a day, okay, like 6 hours a day.
Sure.
So my improvement was very, very fast, very steep, because it's not like like we train here, like maybe twice a week or something like that.
Right.
So I was training twice a day. The improvement went very, very fast. Mm-hmm. And so after 1 year, I already knew the whole 64 Hotians. Mm-hmm. And I learned all the circle palm changes. And what we did after the first year is to keep maintaining the basics. It was like the 8 palm changes and the 64 Hotians. Mm-hmm. And then we started to build other stuff. Like I started to learn after 2 years, 2.5 years, I started to learn weapons. Mm-hmm. And there was also a Kung Fu brother of Han Feng Rui, which you can find these videos on YouTube, I think, Chen Baozhen.
Yeah.
Chen Baozhen was also a Liu Feng Cai student. When I met Chen Baozhen, Han was about 72, 73, and Chen Baozhen was already 85.
Wow.
Ooh, wow.
And so at the beginning, Chen Baozhen didn't like me. And he didn't like the idea that Han teaches me.
Oh.
Because for him, like I was a foreigner, and
right.
Chinese Kung Fu needs to be for Chinese people only. But Han always told them, listen, find me Chinese students. Like we have someone here, like right. We have someone foreigner that is really keen to learn our tradition. So it's either we die with the knowledge and the tradition, or we teach those who want to learn it.
Yep.
And for 1 year, Chen Baozhen was coming, and he didn't teach me. He was just practicing on the side and just watching. After 1 year, he realized that I was like really, really, how to say, like I
was serious.
I bought his respect. I bought his respect, nice. And he understood that, okay, maybe it's time to learn, because he didn't have students.
Oh, wow.
So he got to know me, and he started to teach me all the weapons, like the Bagua cane. Mm-hmm. Bagua Yue, Han Feng Rui taught me. But Han Feng Rui taught me, he told me I can teach you short staff and Yue and a cane. You know cane, the walking stick?
Yeah.
So this is the weapons that Han Feng Rui was teaching me. And what Chen Baozhen was teaching me, he was teaching me the broadsword, the Bagua sword. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He was teaching me Qiang, the spear. Mm-hmm. And he was teaching me the long staff.
Oh, cool.
That is cool.
So that was what I was learning. And not too many people know, but Chen Baozhen wasn't an indoor student. Although he was training for a long, long time with Liu Feng Cai, he wasn't an indoor student.
Wow.
I don't know why. as far as I understood, there was kind of like a small quarrel maybe between him and Liu Feng Cai. So they had some bad blood between them. So he was keep training with Liu Feng Cai, but he was never became an indoor student, although he had lots of wisdom and lots of knowledge about Gao Bagua. And there are many things that he knew, for example, and Han Feng Rui maybe forgot. So Han Feng Rui asked him to teach me all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you got
that's cool.
Great story. Great story. Do you know if the gentleman that was in his 80s, did he start before Han Feng Rui? Do you know? With Liu Feng Cai?
I don't know for sure, so I don't want to speculate.
Okay.
But I do know that he was training with him for a long, long time.
Sure.
As far as I understand, Han Feng Rui was around 30 years, I think, with Liu Feng Cai until his death.
Wow.
Han Feng Rui started when he was in his 20s, when he was 23 or something like that. Actually, Han Feng Rui started from Xingyi. And after, if you want, I can tell the story how he got into Bagua, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. All what I'm telling you is the way Han Feng Rui told me and shared it with me. Because I was asking him, how did you get to know Liu Feng Cai and later on through Liu Feng Cai also Gao Yi Sheng? So he told me that in the beginning, Tianjin was very strong here in Xingyi style.
Yeah.
Lots of Xingyi practitioners from Tianjin, all the famous guys, Gao Yi Sheng, Sun Lutang, all the big names, Han Xia, all the famous guys.
Yeah, Li Xunyi.
Yeah, so Han, when he was young, he started in his 20s. He was practicing Xingyi, and in one of the they have a certain training method which is called like tuntu, like it comes from the spitting. And tuntu they used to train while you get a fist, bong fist into the belly, and then straight forward you get pi chuan into your chest in order to train the tuntu method. And during this training, Han got a very the guy that was practicing with him, like hit him very, very strong and very, very aggressive with pi chuan on his like here on the solar plexus, and he broke the solar plexus.
Oh wow!
So Han got injured, and till this now he's already passed away, but during that time you could feel his chest, and you can see that the bones didn't heal correctly. After this injury, Han was looking for something else to train, and someone recommended Liu Feng Cai, and Liu Feng Cai told him, okay, you can start train with me, and we make you strong, and we can heal your injuries and all the stuff. And Bagua is more moderate and more less aggressive in training than Xingyi. And from that day on, like he became Liu Feng Cai's student for around 30 years or so until his death.
Wow. And do you know if Han ever met Gao himself?
As far as I know and what he told me, yeah, he met Gao, but Gao already was like, although Gao, that Liu Feng Cai was Gao's nephew.
Yeah.
So they are the same family. So during the time, when he met a few times Gao Yi Sheng, he saw him training, but he didn't train under Gao Yi Sheng. Sure. All his teachings and trainings were through under Liu Feng Cai.
Yeah. That's cool.
Elhanan, do you practice Xingyi at all? Or just Bagua?
I don't. I did some Xingyi, but not regularly. Sure. I did, during when I was training in China, I always say for a human being, every human being, doesn't matter what you do if you, it can be in your work, your family, or in your martial arts. Most people are not taking into consideration their disadvantages. And from young age, I always tried to look what are my disadvantages, and I wanted to make these points better. And my biggest disadvantage was, okay, let's start. My advantage was that I'm a very patient guy and I'm very dedicated. But my disadvantage was that while it concerning martial arts, although I'm 1 meter and 84 centimeters, I don't know how it goes in America with the foot and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you have to convert it into feet. I'm tall, I'm well built, but I'm not a strong guy. I don't have muscle power. So this in martial arts, it can be a big disadvantage. And I was always asked Han, listen, I have to. You need to find a way to make me stronger and maybe a little bit more aggressive. So after 1 year, 1.5 years, he implemented Xingyi training into my training. So because the Tianjin Hotian, the Fajing is very similar to the Xingyi Fajing. The movements are very compacted, the Fajing is very short and powerful. Mm-hmm. So he started to train me in Xingyi, in like the Wuxing, the 5 fists. And he also, to make me even stronger, he also started to teach me something that is called Bapanjang. You know what is Bapanjang?
I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah. So Bapanjang is like, I call it, it's like the Ichuan of Bagua. Because Bapanjang, based on about 8 postures that you do, and it's like the same postures, the 8 the 8 mother palms that we do in Bagua. Mm-hmm. They train them, but they're doing like Xingyi, they're doing it a lot Xingyi, like in each one. They do it very static. You stand. Yes. So you do all these postures, but only in standing. And because these postures are very, very difficult because they have lots of twisting, you have to twist the tendons and the joints, and they're very difficult to do it statically. They make your body very, very strong. So to answer your question, yeah, I did Xingyi and Bapanjang, but not in order to become a Xingyi guy, just to become a little bit stronger and to learn how to issue the Fajing in the Hotian in a more efficient way.
Very good.
Do you know where Han learned the Bapanjang? Was that something that was that he got from Liu Feng Cai, or was that something that he had trained elsewhere?
He trained elsewhere. I don't recall the name of the teacher. Maybe it's written somewhere in my, I documented lots of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe it's written somewhere, maybe in my journals or whatever. But it was because Bapanjang is came, I think, from Hubei or Hebei, somewhere in the north. So as far as I recall, there was a teacher from the north, and somehow he got to know Han Feng Rui, and Han Feng Rui learned it from him. Now Han Feng Rui and another guy, maybe you heard his name, Wang Sheng, is also a Liu Feng Cai student. Wang Sheng wrote the book, the famous book of Tianjin Gao style Bagua.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's called the Lian Huan Gao Shi, Zheng Pai Gao Shi, something like that. Lian Huan Zhang, I think it's called the book. And Wang Shu Sheng and Han Feng Rui, both of them were the students of Liu Feng Cai. And during or after the Cultural Revolution, they were teaching in Tianjin University martial arts. So both of them were also like Kung Fu brothers, and they also were colleagues in the university, and they trained. They trained other people, Chinese students. But as I told you before, when I got to Tianjin, both Wang Shushang already passed away, and Han Feng Rui was teaching me and some senior guys. And Ge Liang, you know Ge Liang? Ge Liang is Wang Shusheng student. He was teaching in Nankai University. And from time to time, I was going over there just to cross hands sometimes and, just to chat about Bagua. Ge Liang was a Shuaijiao guy. So his guys were very, very strong. So when I was crossing hands with them, they were really they were powerful guys. And I was, as I told you, I'm not a strong guy, so I had to rely on technique and body movement in order to overcome their power. So it was interesting. It was interesting. I had lots of experiences in Tianjin.
Yeah, that's good training.
Yeah, we training, and we always look for to cross hands with other people. So I was always crossing hands with other people from Beijing. And I met with other Xingyi practitioner and Yin Fu practitioners. And I met with Liu Jingru from Beijing.
Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah.
And I met with Xie Peiqi, who is already passed away. I met with Xie Peiqi also. And I went also with Wang Shushang. We was each one a practitioner. He was a student of... I forgot his name. Each one creator.
Wang Zhongzai.
Wang Xiangjia, yeah. So Wang Shusheng was, he's a 2D, he's a student, and I met many people. So it was a good period. Most of them today, I think, already passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're gonna have to write a book, brother. You're going to have to write a book about your adventures over there. Because I'm serious. You've met you've met so many good people. You got so many good stories. There's a book. I hear a book in there, brother. Yeah.
So first of all, I have to find the time to write a book, but I will tell you a secret. All those teachers, which I met, I had a video camera. And I recorded each one of them. I was interviewing them in Chinese. And
that's cool.
And I have all these interviews recorded. So even Wang Wenyong was the number one guy in Shuaijiao in China. You can find these videos in YouTube also. I also met with him and made an interview. So I have lots of information, but I need to find the time to write it.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow. Or documentary. If you've got the videos,
right?
Edit them out. That sounds like a great documentary, my friend.
Yeah. It's amazing. I have all the cassettes. I keep them in a very, close to my heart, in a very special place in my cupboard, not to lose them. But I have to find the time to. I have hours of recordings.
Elhanan, are you teaching? Are you teaching?
Well, I was today. Currently, sadly, I'm not teaching. I was teaching from 2003 up to 2022, 2023.
Okay.
In the last 2 years. My group still training, but I'm not coming on active trainings because after I came back from China, a few students approached me and wanted to learn Bagua. And because I didn't teach, it wasn't my day job, I was teaching only to pass on the tradition. to pass on the knowledge. So I was teaching my guys the same way I was training in China.
Sure.
Each training, we were training like 3 times a week. Each training was 3 hours per training. And what happened is that I had maybe thousands of students, but only 4 or 5 really were dedicated to train, and they are training with me for more than 12, 14 years. And because of so many students came and went, I got mentally tired from teaching. So, but I will be back. My guys are still training. I'm training on my own. I will come back for teaching, I guess, in the near future. Maybe in the next few months, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that's always hard. You know, I've been teaching for a while now too, and it's just having to, you know, I think all teachers like us want to find somebody who has that same passion and that same interest, and they want to spend the time to do it.
Exactly.
And so it's hard, you know, when people have their lives and they're doing what they want to do, but it's tough as a teacher, you know, when you invest in somebody and you spend some time and effort trying to teach them and get them through some of the basics, and then they, you know, life takes them away or they just lose interest. That's hard.
100%. 100%.
It's tough.
Like after 15 years, or more than 15 years, I think, from 2003 to 2020, almost 20 years I was teaching.
Yeah.
I got tired. Yeah, but I will come back. I want to teach because I want to pass on the knowledge. I don't want to stay with. I don't want it to. You know, it's a tradition. I don't want the tradition will stop at Elhanan. I want it to keep going afterwards.
Yep.
So this is my responsibility to my teacher and to Bagua as I see it.
Yeah. I was also going to say that, I have a friend who has also been teaching for a long time. And then, he had kind of the similar situation. And then during the pandemic, you know, he couldn't really teach. He had and so he had a close group of like 4 or 5 senior students who were very dedicated. And he basically just kind of fired all of the rest of his students. And now he just trains this core group of guys. And I was like,
you need to focus your energy
I was like,
on the
I was like, that's not a bad take. I kind of liked it. So, yeah.
If you're not making, I think when I was teaching, my biggest advantage was that I'm not, it's not my day job. I'm not living out of my teachings. So when I was teaching deeply from my art. I wanted to give, to teach. I didn't take money. I just wanted to teach people. And so I think this was my advantage, but it's a disadvantage because you get tired after the time. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. I was going to ask, you know, I didn't think, did he ever do Taiji?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did Taiji, but what he did more interestingly, he had a form that I don't know where did he learn it from, but he called this form, and he was teaching me. It's called Taiji Xingyi Bagua, and it's a form that has all ingredients of these 3 internal martial arts into one form. So he was practicing it as I remember, he did also young style Taiji, but only, you know, for his own, like, for his leisure time, he wasn't teaching. But after 3 years of training with him, it was in the 4th year, he was teaching me the form of Xingyi Taiji Bagua.
What are the characteristics? What are the qualities of that form? Can you kind of describe what it's like? I mean, does it live somewhere between a Bagua, kind of Hotian, Shentian, Taiji? This sounds like an interesting monster.
Well, if I have to define it very, very simply, it's like a salad. It's a salad of Taiji Bagua, and Xingyi. But if you look from it from outside, people will think it's Taiji. Because you're not walking in circles, okay? But it has the ingredients of the straight line of Xingyi, and they have the twisting and the footwork of Bagua. So it has all the good stuff from each art in one form. I don't even know who invented this form, but he taught me this one, and I learned it. I think I also have it on video. I will have to look for it.
Do you still practice that one for fun, or you still keep it in your training?
No. What I'm training, and this is the most important for me, except for the circle walking and the 8 palm changes and the 64 hot yens. Mm-hmm. All the other stuff, as Han told me, are supplements.
Yeah.
So he always told me, you need to focus on circle walking, 8 palm changes, and 64 and the hot yens. All the other stuff you do for fun, you do for other skills. But the most important is to focus on circle walking and hot yens. So most of my time, even when I was teaching other people, I was focusing on circle walking and hot yens. I didn't tell you, but I was also practicing boxing, like classical boxing, and I was doing also Kali and Arnis. And it's also, and the reason why I was training every few years I'm going and learning new martial art. Not because I want to learn new martial arts, but only for one purpose, and I learned it from Han Feng Rui, to make myself a better Bagua guy. So I always keeping myself open-minded, and I went to learn classical boxing because I wanted to learn the boxing technique and the footwork and body movement and, all the dodging stuff and doing the dodging and boobing. Mm-hmm. Then I went to learn some Kali and Arnis. Why? Because I knew from Bagua I was doing the Yue. Yue, it's like you have 5 or 6 blades on the Yue knives. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, in order to do Yue better, I have to learn the way of the knife. So which martial arts practicing and understands the knife better? The Filipino guys, the Kali. So I went and I learned Kali, and I was also a Kali instructor. I was learning other Rico Cortez and the Tohon Ray Dionaldo, which is very, very famous in the US. FCS Kali, maybe you heard about it.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And they have ingredients of Arnis and Sayok and all the other stuff. So I'm looking for all the time. I'm looking for information only for one purpose: to make myself better in Bagua. Because Bagua is not about technique. Bagua is about principles. So once you understand the principles, you can feel other stuff that you learn in other places in order to make your Bagua better. This is my opinion. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Agreed.
And it was also Han Feng Rui, because Han Feng Rui, I think that's what's so special about people like Han Feng Rui and Lo Daxiu. They are very open-minded about other stuff and about other martial arts. If other traditional Chinese teachers will tell you, no, you don't learn, you're doing only what I teach you, you don't learn from other stuff. My teachers always told me, no, you have to open your eyes, because martial arts is about stealing. You have to steal good things from other people, from other styles, from other systems, and implement it into your system in order to be better and to improve. So all the time we have to keep open-minded.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. So in terms of looking at the Tianjin method and then the Taiwan method, is there anything that strikes you in terms of, say, power generation or body method or fighting strategies that are not necessarily different, but things you like better, something you enjoy more about one or more about the other, or how they complement each other?
Okay, so because I do and I did both, let's say, I don't know if style is the correct definition, but let's call
Sure.
it a nuance. It's a nuance.
Brilliant.
So I have the Taiwan nuance and I have the Tianjin nuance. And just to remind you, I started with the Taiwanese style because I was studying and training with Ben Fuchs because he learned from Lo Dacio. So I was used to do all the movements very long, very stretched, very like full body movement. And when I got from Tianjin, it was the other way around. Everything was small, compacted, very, very straightforward, very, like I can say it's like Xingyi a little bit. It's like because Gao Yi Sheng was doing also Xingyi.
Yeah, very much.
And I think we can see Xingyi in the Hotian, right? If you look at the Tianjin Hotian style, you can see it's like 90% Xingyi in the energy. So the Taiwanese, I think they are both extremes that want to teach you the same thing. What do I mean? Like in Taiwan, they stretch the movement. They make it longer. And in order to emphasize the full body work. And in Tianjin, the other extreme is very compact and it's Fajing oriented. Right. So I think I consider myself lucky that I learned these both two extremes. Yeah. And now I can move between them.
Beautiful.
And I will, if you want, I will tell you an anecdote.
Yeah, please.
When I was training in Israel with Ben Fox, I never met Lo Dacio. So after training 2 years with Ben, I was leaving to China. I was training in China. After 1 year, I came to visit in Israel. And it was pure luck. In the 2 weeks when I've been to Israel, Lo Dacio came to teach in Israel for seminars. So Ben Fuchs told me, listen, I want you, let's meet with Lo Dacio. I want you to meet him and get to know him. So I went to, Lo Dacio was staying at Ben's house. So I went, and at that time I was already, after 1 year in China, I was speaking a little bit in Chinese, so I could chat a little bit with Lo Dacio. And Ben is also a Chinese speaker. So we kind of chit-chatted in Chinese, and we talked about Bagua and all the stuff. And it was the first time for me to meet Lo Dacio. Now it's really funny because until that day, I saw Lo Dacio only on videos.
Yeah.
The one that he did with Bill Tucker and Tim Cartmel. So Lo Dacio, my impression from the videos was like that he's like a nerdy, he had like glasses, he was a little bit chubby.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, and when I met him, and I was really, I think at that time Lo was like around his 50s or something like that, and I was like 26, like half his age. And I was very enthusiastic, and I was showing him what we did in Tianjin. And Lo Dacio was looking at me, and he told me something. He told something to me and to Ben, which really amazed me. And he told Ben, 这是普通高士八卦章. And what he meant, he told me, this is the standardized or the original Gao style Bagua, and he meant that this is the Tianjin, this is the source where Gao style and I was very amazed because I speak with a very highly respected great teacher like Lo Dacio, and he told listen, what you do is like the original stuff, like what we did, because Lo Dacio was researching all this stuff. And that the Gao style had some changes through time with Zhang Jiaodong and Zhang Mama and the Hong brothers, Hong Yim Yan and Hong Yi Xiang, and all these guys. It was a little bit changed with time.
Yeah.
And so I was amazed from this remark. And then Lo told me, he told me, okay, show me what you know. So I started to show him, and because I was very young, so I was very interested in fighting, you know. And I knew that Lo was a good fighter, you know, because because Lo Daxiu, he was also a good friend of Su Dongchen. And, you know, there are lots of stories when these guys were young and they like to go and fighting and beating other guys.
Yeah.
So Lo Daxiu told me, okay, stand in front of me. And I stood in front of him like in a kind of like, not Santische, but like in a very half Santische, half combat position. And he told me, okay, when you're ready, attack me. And something amazing happened. As soon as I wanted to do something, I froze. I couldn't move. Why? Because there was something in Lo Daxiu's intention. Yi. He had a very strong yi. And I felt like all the room, like he's kind of like focusing and closing on me. And before, I kind of froze for a half a second or something like that. And before I knew what happened, I felt something, and it moved very, very fast, and he almost broke my thumb. Why? Because he told me you did one mistake, and I told him what mistake. He told me you stood like this, and I just chopped it, and he chopped my thumb, he almost broke it, and it was so fast, and now I understand. Fuck, this is Lo Daxiu. He's the main man, like you know, like this is the real deal. And you know, I was only practicing 1 year in Tianjin, and I met for the first time Lo Daxiu, and I said, wow, there are so many things and so much to learn. And I went back to China fully motivated, and since that day, after I came back to Israel on 2003, every year I was attending Lo Daxiu's seminars and training with him in order to learn and to deepen my understanding in Bagua. So like, if you ask me, Lo Daxiu is one of the top, I think maybe number one martial art I ever met. Like,
so you have the two styles of the Bagua. You have the Taiwanese, and you have the Tianjin. But do you find that learning maybe the tactics that Lo teaches is integratable to both the Tianjin and the Taiwanese methods?
Of course, the principles are the same principles. And I tell you, from Lo, I learned a lot of how to bridge. And after you bridge to contact, what you do after the initial contact, how you progress from it, and how you flow from it. And from Han, I was learning how to do the Fa Jing, because I was, although I'm quite a tall guy, I really like to fight. I found it like close combat, like Bagua. Most people don't feel comfortable in close combat, and Bagua makes you feel very comfortable in close range. So in close range, these short Fa Jings have a lot of effect. So I can't say what I took from here or what I took from there. It's kind of like integrated naturally in what I'm doing. You know? So I cannot separate, okay, this one is from Lo and Ben, and this one is from Han. I kind of integrated. I consider myself lucky. I kind of integrated everything. I was like a sponge. Lots of people taught me, and I was integrating it all into my Bagua stuff. And what's interesting is, in the Tianjin style, they do a xian tian, all these like long movements. You know them, right? Mm-hmm. All the 10 heavenly, like not the xian tian. Sorry, a tian gan.
Tian gan. Yeah. Yep.
Tian gan. So amazingly, the origin of tian gan is from Tianjin. But in Tianjin, they don't train tian gan, only in Taiwan. Why? Because tian gan was practicing Han Muxia and Wu Mangxia. And Wu Mangxia was influencing the guys that went into Tianjin, Zhang Jiaodong. So in Taiwan, they keep practicing Tiangan, but they don't do it in Tianjin. Only one guy do it in Tianjin. I was later got to know it because I bought a book in Chinese, and I got to learn that there's one guy that training in Bagua, Gao style Bagua in Tianjin is also doing Tiangan. So maybe this is the connection between the Tianjin and the Taiwanese.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So with the Tiangan that you learned in Tianjin, is it similar to the same stuff that you learned from the Taiwanese branch? Or is it very different?
Bummer.
I didn't learn Tiangan in
Tianjin.
Tianjin. Yeah.
When I came to Tianjin, I already knew Tiangan because I was studying under Ben from Dexiu. But when I was, as I told you, the first meeting with Han, I showed him also Tiangan. And he looked at it and he told me, listen, this is good. We don't train it, but this is good drills. You can keep doing it if you want. So he was very open-minded.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Only later on, when I got introduced to this Chinese book from Tianjin, I made the connection.
Then you saw it, right? Okay.
Very cool. Very cool. So I have an odd question. Do you feel like the Eskrima that you've done and still do, has that influenced your Bagua at all? Or do you think it's more the other way around? Your Bagua has influenced your Eskrima?
Okay. What I'm gonna say now, maybe Eskrima and Kali guys won't like it.
Okay.
But I'm saying it's only my own opinion, and I know that I'm prejudiced about it. For me, Bagua is the ultimate martial art. Why? Because Bagua doesn't focus on techniques. Bagua focuses via its teachings from Han and from Lo Dexiu, the way I learned it, mainly on principles. When you understand the principle of movement, the principle of tactics, the principles of body structure, the principles of flow and change, it doesn't matter what you learn, you can really absorb it. So for me, when I went to study Kali, I wanted to learn the way of the knife. And after I learned Kali, although these guys are great and very skilled in what they do, this is for me was a very, 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 very simple martial arts. Sure. When I'm looking on martial arts, I'm looking it via the glasses of the way. What are the principles behind the movements? I don't care about technique. I'm looking for principles. So once I grasp the principle, it becomes very simple, very obvious, very simple to learn and train. That's why I think that Bagua people, the ones that train very, very good, can implement very easily stuff from other martial arts, and they get to learn other martial arts quite quickly, I think. So after I learned the Kali, the principles of Kali and Arnis and all the stuff, it was very easy for me to advance very quickly. And after 2 years, I got bored, so I went back to Bagua because But I'm saying it not to offend others. I'm saying it's only my opinion, only my personal experience. I used Kali and Arnis and boxing only to make my Bagua better. Okay? Because Kali is the best school to learn knife. And once I took it, I implemented it into Bagua. That's what I wanted. That's what I'm trying to do all the time, to get some good stuff from other martial arts. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be offensive, yeah?
No, you're not offensive at all. As a matter of fact, just to caveat it, and if you're worried about anything, we bring people on here so they can share their opinion, so they can share their knowledge and their personal journey. We don't bring people on to attack other people or, everything you're saying makes total sense. And you're caveating it with, this is my opinion and this is your journey. You're sharing your journey.
It's my journey. It's my opinion. Mm-hmm. And also because I'm also, because it's only my personal point of view.
Yes.
I don't think there are good martial arts or bad martial arts. As we say all the time, there are only good or bad martial artists. All martial arts are good.
I like that. I gotta steal that one. I've got one more question for you. Is there any new martial arts that you're looking at that you might like to dip your toes into?
I never had the chance. I always wanted. I never had the chance to roll on the ground a little bit with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Mm-hmm. Today I'm 51 years old. And although I'm not that old, but I'm not very, very young.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of, I'm in a stage of my life where when I was younger, I really liked to fight and to cross hands and to test myself. Today, I'm more trying to protect and to preserve myself, okay?
Yeah.
So I really want to try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling, but because it's a very intensive on the joints and on the bone, I have to be very, very picky with the kind of the group I want to join.
Yep.
Because if there people are too over-motivated, you can get injuries. So I want to... And I want to go back to boxing again because I don't think I have a few, I think I have to, there are some more things that I think I have to grasp in boxing in order to make my Bagua better. What other martial arts on my mind? I tried the kendo, but it was very difficult for me. Not difficult by techniques or for my body, but the way they teach it. The Japanese are very strict.
Yes.
There is a way how to hold the sword. There is a way how to stand. And Bagua is more open-minded. It doesn't matter if my elbow is like this or like that. As far as you understand and you keep structure, it's okay. Mm-hmm. But Japanese people are not Japanese people, let's say Japanese martial arts.
Yeah.
In modern times, they are so technique-oriented that it makes it much harder to learn because it's very, very strict. And so I did a little bit of kendo because I wanted to learn how to, for example, the way of the sword, how to engage, how to penetrate, and they're very good at it. So because the kendo is really on the first second, what happened on the first second? So I wanted to learn it, but once I learned it for quite some time, I went on. I'm taking what I want and I'm going forward, all the time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I just had one more sort of follow-up question. So with all of your experience in martial arts and your background in martial arts, and when in general, like when you teach, what's your progression? Like if you had to take somebody from sort of beginner to, sort of intermediate or wherever down the road, like what would you start with? And then, what would your teaching progression sort of generally look like?
You mean when I teach students, right?
Yeah.
Well, as I said, when I was starting teaching, I was teaching very, very strictly, like the way I was training in China. Mm-hmm. So for me, like the first lesson, I was testing them. Although I was very, very friendly, and I was explaining a lot of stuff. So because people need to feel comfortable when they come to train in a group. But all the time I was testing them, because the beginning of the class was like 40 minutes to 1 hour circle walking. So I was teaching them and, okay, go, walk. And it mentally, for the first time, even for the first few months, it's very difficult to walk in circle for 1 hour. So it was kind of, how to say, I kind of wipe out. I was wiping all the guys that are not serious. They got rid of them. They didn't complete, because, after 2-3 lessons, they disappeared.
Right.
And then, and the second half of the class, I was doing, let's say, the cool stuff, okay? I was teaching Hotien, and then I was breaking down to techniques for 2 people practice. Like one guy, partner working, like one guy is punching.
Yeah.
And the other guy is like intercepting, because I wanted people to feel where they can get to, where they can go to in Bagua, how they can get advanced. And because they came to learn martial arts, I wanted to give them the feeling of the contact.
Yeah.
So it was circle walking, Hotiens, and the last quarter of the lesson, all the time, 2 people working, all the time working, contact, because let's put things on the table. Let's speak frankly. Going in circles can be very boring, but when you do 2 people drills, it's fun. So I had to put some fun into class, because otherwise all my students will disappear.
That's great.
Totally.
That's a good balance too. That's a good balance. Eat your broccoli first, and then you can have a sweet treat at the end, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this is a good metaphor. Yeah.
It's an official show when I did a food reference.
I know. Yeah.
What was very, I don't know if you experience it also in the US when you guys teach. What I find it interesting, that many people came to train with me after they already had like black belt in ninjutsu or karate or other martial arts. And I really like these guys because, first of all, guy, sometimes in the West world, when a guy gets black belt, he also gets like a ton of ego. Yeah. And I find it very interesting that these guys came to learn after they had their like black belt, like second or third dan. And they were really good students, and they really went, they really wanted to learn, and they wanted to find a way to bridge between let's say, the strict Japanese way of training and the very, let's say, open-minded Bagua way of training. Because we are not, as I said, we are not emphasizing technique. We are emphasizing principles.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Owen, did you have any other questions? I think this is a great time and a great interview. Yeah.
Well, you had a long list of questions. I don't know. You have to check it.
Yeah. I've been watching, so we're good. Yeah.
And,
well, before go ahead.
If one of the listeners is only thinking to himself, okay, this guy is Israeli, he has to do Krav Maga. No, I don't do Krav Maga.
Okay. We got to get that out there. It's on the record. Before we go, Elhanan, do you have YouTube? You have access to YouTube?
I have YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. So someone that I love, it's a personal preference, right? He's out of UK. His name is Fran Sands, and he has a channel on YouTube. It's called My Boxing Coach.
Yeah, it's good.
And he has over 300 hours he teaches at a club 5 days a week. And he's been training since 1978. He's in his mid 50s, and he has a free book. He has a free online book that you can download. So if you're looking, I know you'll probably work with someone in person, of course, but he has a way to study, and he has a way that he communicates. It's very brilliant. Did you guys use the tapes on the floor when you did Eskrima and Kali? Did you use the angles on the floor like you tape the angles on the floor? Like when you're doing-
No, I didn't. Well, for me, I didn't. We didn't use it because most of my Kali training was also most of the time personal training.
Okay,
and
sure.
all the Kali footwork is almost like the 7-star, Chi Sing Bu, like the 7-star step in Bagua, which you cut the angle 45 and then you go again and you cut the angle again 45. So it was very natural for me, so they didn't have to put the tapes.
Beautiful.
But I did. But when I was teaching, for example, people in Bagua, because we were training outdoors and we had like soil, like dirt on the ground. So I took a stick and I was putting like 2 sticks like in 45 degrees.
Yeah.
In order to teach them the footwork. So
Beautiful.
it's just replacing for the tapes just to get the basic footwork.
Fran has a map system that he puts on the floor that has to do with all of the footwork. And it's like this beautiful pattern, but it's very elaborate. And I've seen it in, the Eskrima and Kali, but I've seen a few boxers use it, but I've never seen it as elaborate as he does. So yeah, my boxing coach.
I will have a look. Maybe afterwards you will send me the link.
I can do that. I'll send it to you personally. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
this has been a fantastic interview, and we wish you the best. And again, when you get ready, let us know. Drop us a line when you're teaching again, and we'll try to let the audience know.
Why, guys? Thank you very, very much for having me here. Great podcast. Thank you. It's a great honor to be hosted on your podcast. Keep training, and most important, have fun. If you're not having fun while you train, it's not worth it.
I agree. Wonderful.
Bless you, my friend. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Send me the link of the podcast when you publish it.
Yeah, we'll do.
Bye.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.